All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to channel our inner master engineer to demystify a machine that we probably pass by all the time, but let's be honest, rarely actually understand, the electric hoist. You see, we aren't just going to look at cold gears and thick wires here. We're literally tracking the invisible dynamics that make all that heavy lifting possible. So how exactly does invisible energy physically lift a heavy car? It's kind of a mind-bending question, isn't it? I mean, when you watch a massive 2-ton car just floating effortlessly into the air, it almost looks like magic. But to solve this specific engineering challenge, we can't just stare at the metal. We have to trace the invisible flow of power, right from its source, all the way to that final massive load. It is all about the journey of energy. Okay, let's lay our foundation here. We're going to look through what our source material calls a multi-domain lens. And, a multi-domain system is really just a physical framework where energy doesn't just sit there, it completely transforms. It's moving from electrical stages right into mechanical ones to actually get that heavy work done. Getting a grip on this is absolutely crucial because it allows us to confidently understand exactly how energy shifts its form. To really visualize this whole process, we are going to construct what the curriculum calls the ultimate mind map. And trust me, this isn't just some basic run-of-the-mill diagram. It's a highly structured framework designed to map out this entire energy journey step by step. By building this out, we can trace the exact flow of energy from the literal wall outlet all the way to that suspended weight. And here it is, the exact linear path of our energy broken down into 4 critical steps. Number 1, the electric mains, which is our source. Number 2, the motor, acting as our gyrator. Number 3, the cable drum, functioning as a transformer. And finally, number 4, the weight itself, which represents inertia or storage. It's a direct, unbroken sequence. So let's break each of these down really quick. Step 1 is the electric mains. This is the power source. It acts as the fundamental wellspring of our entire system. Look, without this initial push of electrical energy into our blueprint, the whole thing just sits there doing absolutely nothing. This is quite literally where the potential for all that massive heavy lifting is born. Moving on to step 2, the motor. Now, what's really fascinating here is how the motor functions specifically as a gyrator. In engineering speak, a gyrator is something that links 2 completely different domains together. It's the crucial bridge. This is where that invisible electricity first begins its radical transformation into physical rotational energy. The motor just takes that electrical flow and turns it into spin. It's the absolute beating heart of this multi-domain translation. Next up is step 3, the cable drum. Our map labels this as a transformer. Now, you might be wondering why a transformer. Well, it's because it takes all that mechanical spinning from the motor and converts it into direct, linear lifting power. It's literally transforming the type of mechanical energy we're dealing with, taking that rotational force and adapting it into the exact vertical pull we need to hoist that massive object up. And finally, we hit step 4, the weight itself. That translated, transformed energy has reached the end of the line, the actual load. In our diagram, the weight behaves as inertia or storage within this physical system. So all of that raw electrical energy that originally came from the mains, it's now fully converted into gravitational potential energy. It successfully overcame the inertia of that heavy car and is now basically storing that energy right there in its elevated position. Now, if we compare these 2 halves side by side, the electrical stages versus the mechanical stages, it perfectly frames the system's ultimate goal. On the left side, you've got the electrical domain, the mains and the motor, and then on the right, the mechanical domain, the drum and the weight. Looking at it this way is fantastic because it clearly maps out that exact moment of transformation across entirely different physical domains. It takes that invisible flow of energy and actually makes it visible to us. But hey, it's one thing to just look at a static map on a screen, right? To truly master this, our source material throws down a challenge. We have to be able to identify the critical effort and flow variables right smack in the middle of the action, as the hoist is actively lifting a heavy car. So let's take on that challenge. Imagine our machine in action right now. Picture this. The electric hoist is fully strained. Those thick steel cables are incredibly tight, and it's actively pulling a massive car right off the concrete. The energy is just surging from the mains, spinning the motor, turning the drum, and physically fighting the immense gravity of that car. So here's the big question. Can you identify the critical effort and flow variables in this exact moment? Take a mental second here. As that energy pushes through the gyrator and the transformer that we just defined, where exactly do those effort and flow variables live in your mind map?
Well, in the electrical stage, effort is your voltage and flow is your current. But, and here is the really cool part, as it crosses over into the mechanical stage, that effort translates into literal torque and cable tension, and the flow becomes the physical speed of the spinning drum and the rising car. Mapping these specific variables is absolutely the key to truly mastering this system.
All right, let's synthesize all of this to build our final perspective. We're zooming out now to bring all these complex concepts together, the multi-domain lens, the ultimate mind map, the effort and flow variables, into one unified functional model. When you look at it like this, it's no longer just a collection of disjointed metal parts. It's honestly a beautifully orchestrated symphony of energy.
And that brings us perfectly to the core learning objectives of this explainer. 1. Tracing energy through complex systems. 2. Understanding transformation across stages. 3. Identifying effort and flow variables. And 4. Building a unified functional model. If you can do these 4 things, you are totally empowered. You can confidently explain the operational mechanics of practically any multi-domain machine out there.
Because honestly, once you can visualize this invisible flow of energy, watching it go from a simple wall outlet all the way to physically lifting a multi-ton car, the entire world of engineering just opens right up to you. You now have that master engineer framework in your toolkit. So the only question I have left for you is, now equipped with the ultimate mind map, what complex, real-world machine are you going to decode next?